The first season of the Halo TV series has now come and gone, and with it comes one more update to Dr. Halsey's computer, the marketing website that accompanies the series. This may be the last update ever, it may only be the last update until Season 2 kicks off. For now, we can't say. But for now, we can at least take a look at the info that's been added to the website, much of which hints at Season 2 taking on the Fall of Reach. So, without further ado, let's dive in. The website sadly doesn't feature any new intro graphic this week, nor any new planetary profiles. I was a little shocked that we didn't see any new information on the Aspero system, Halsey's clone, or even clues as to where she's headed. The character profiles, however, are much more satisfying. Once more, starting with the Master Chief, the Spartan has been moved to Castle Base for medical observation following the events of Episode 9. Since then, his vitals have shown a number of abnormalities, and Oni continues to observe the Spartan's neural interface activity. In core canon, prior to receiving his Mark V armor upgrade and Cortana, just before the Fall of Reach, John had to undergo an operation to upgrade his own neural interface. With all the mentions of his neural activity and the bridge between his mind and Cortana, I have a feeling that Silver Timeline John will receive an operation on his neural interface as well, though perhaps one that makes him and Cortana more equal partners. We'll see. The more interesting part of John's profile this week, however, might be right here in the middle. We see a command override being authorized by something called Arachiel, followed by the computer reporting an unidentified intruder. We then see BKP init net ONI S3 B5D, which would appear to mean Best Known Practice Initialized Network ONI Section 3 Beta 5 Division. What does all this mean, however? That's where things get interesting. I've noted before that the Beta 5 division of ONI's Section 3 is probably best known for the operation of the Spartan 3 program. That program was headed by Colonel James Ackerson, a fierce rival of Dr. Halsey who eventually initiated the Spartan 3 program. Additionally, in core canon, Ackerson had a smart AI named Arachiel, a name that also appears on the website, and he was present for the Mjolnir AI integration test that saw John and Cortana work together for the very first time. During that test, by the way, he tried on a few occasions to see the pair fail by means of lethal force. As for the Silver Timeline, at the very least, it seems that Ackerson is infiltrating Halsey's files, perhaps hinting at the man's appearance in Season 2. I'd love to think that this was additionally teasing the possibility of the appearance of Spartan 3s, but I'm not holding my breath. The show has enough storylines to deal with as is. Before we move on to the other Spartans, I want to take a quick look at Cortana's profile. Like John, Cortana's mission area has been changed, also mentioning Castle Base. The major takeaway comes from the second sentence, which notes that Oni doesn't have much information on the neural bridge that connects John and Cortana, that it'll take time to study and understand. This makes me think that a good portion of Season 2 will probably be focused on recovering John, so to speak. Coming to Silver Team, we start with Riz 028. Following her severe injuries in Episode 9, Riz has been moved to Secure Health Facility Rho near the Reach Naval Academy. Interestingly, Rho is the 17th letter of the Greek alphabet, so a small 7 reference. Perhaps more interesting though, and almost certainly a coincidence, is that Rho is the given name of Supreme Commander Ro Barutami, the fleet master who led the initial invasion of Reach depicted in Halo Reach. Anyway, it's noted that, in addition to severe plasma burns and other internal injuries, Riz suffered a total system failure of her secondary and tertiary lung augmentations. In core canon, the Spartan 2s were never known to have received any lung augmentations, though the Spartan 4s did. It's worth noting that many fans have speculated that Spartan 2s received a lot more augmentations than we've been told, but that's another story. The last line of Riz's profile mentions Vice Admiral Jeremy being consulted for Aster protocols, Aster being the code name for the Spartan 2 augmentations. Vice Admiral Jean-Riz Jeremy, whose name I almost certainly mispronounced, in core canon was a personal friend of Dr. Halsey's and analyzed a number of hypothetical experiments for her, what turned out to be the Spartan 2 augmentations. Additionally, Admiral Jeremy's ship, the UNSC Hopeful, was used to augment the Spartan 3s of Gamma Company. I'd love if we got to see him in Season 2. Some have speculated that Riz could receive a mechanical arm after this season, though based on her profile here it doesn't seem too likely, though I'd love to be proven wrong. Moving over to Kai 125, following a debrief by Oni Section 1, the espionage arm of Oni, Kai has been placed under Information Compartmentalization Watch and her sensor records forwarded to Naval Special Warfare for analysis. Currently, Kai is assigned to the Highland Mountain Range, one of the major locations Spartan 2s trained in as children, where she's been assigned for training and intelligence briefing of other Spartan 2 teams. Hopefully that means we might see other Spartans next season, especially with things building towards the Fall of Reach. Finally, for Silver Team, we come to Vanek 134. Like Kai, Vanek has been moved to the Highland Mountains Spartan Fitness and Training Facility for training and intelligence briefings, though he's additionally been designated as CQB and Tactics Course Lead Instructor. Coming next to Dr. Miranda Keyes, her profile is fairly short, mentioning a debrief with Section 1 and her clearance being reset with additional security, following her biometrics being compromised. Captain Keyes' profile is where things get really juicy, with Keyes now being assigned to the UNSC Iroquois, the Halberd-class destroyer he captained in Core Canon prior to his assignment to the Pillar of Autumn. Keyes and the Iroquois have been attached to Battlegroup Leviathan under Admiral Michael Stanforth, assigned to search for the Covenant mobile facility, High Charity. While this is different from Core Canon, I do hope the TV show will take this opportunity to bring the Keyes loop to life. An amazing tactic Keyes developed during the Battle of Sigma Octantis IV, the Keyes loop allowed the then commander to fight off 3 Covenant ships and stall the invasion of the planet. No small feat by any means, and one of the few victories the UNSC saw in those later years of war. The bridge crew of the Iroquois, and later the Autumn, were also a fascinating group that I hope we can see depicted on screen to some degree. Finally, for now, we have Admiral Parangosky, who is prepping a briefing for the UNSC Security Council on the events of Episode 9, as well as reviewing intel for Operation Red Flag. Most Core Canon fans will probably recognize that name right away, though for any unaware, Red Flag was a final, desperate gambit to end the Human Covenant War. The plan was to kidnap a High Prophet and use him to leverage peace. Of course, humanity had no idea how little the Prophets cared for each other, so the plan was doomed to failure. Nevertheless, I'm excited to see the Fall of Reach brought to life. If 343 and Paramount are planning to do this though, there are a number of things I feel the TV series needs to do to make that fall impactful, but that's the subject of another video. For now, I think we can wrap up what might be our last look at Dr. Halsey's computer, depending on how marketing is handled going forward. Season 1 borrowed elements from several Halo stories, though seems to have primarily pulled from Halo the Cole Protocol. From this website update, Season 2 looks like it'll pull more from the later sections of Halo the Fall of Reach at the very least, though I'm interested to see what other inspirations might come into play. I've seen many fans talk about bringing in Noble Team, which could certainly add an interesting dynamic. Others still are dying to see ODSTs make an appearance, something I absolutely agree with. And who's an ODST from Core Canon that we know was present during the Fall of Reach? Gunnery Sergeant Edward Buck of Alpha 9. It's unlikely, but I'd love if we could get a Halo Reach-esque cameo from Nathan Fillion as Buck at the very least. Maybe even bring in Trisha Helfer as Veronica Dare. Or if not them, maybe feature another member of Alpha 9. And speaking of ODSTs, I'd love if we could start seeing some of the side characters from Halo the Flood, the novelization of Halo CE, notably ODST Lieutenant Melissa McKay, one of my favorite Halo characters. On the Covenant side of things, I hope we see more of the other 2 Prophets and how their individual goals might differ from each other. Show the behind-the-scenes discord that came to the forefront in Halo 2. Additionally, with the lead-up to the Fall of Reach and the later discovery of Halo, the future Arbiter Thel 'Vadamee should hopefully be given some significant screen time. In Core Canon, Thel 'Vadamee would lead the final assault on Reach and the pursuit of the Pillar of Autumn to Halo before becoming the Arbiter. I think the TV show could greatly benefit from actively showing Thel during this time, rather than revealing it after the fact like Halo 2 had to do. The show also seems to be setting things up for the defection of the Banished, given Atriox's presence on screen. If that does happen, I hope the show can introduce its version of Tartarus soon. Ever since Atriox's introduction to the canon, many fans have wanted to see him and Tartarus meet, and the TV show could do something interesting with that. Alternatively, some have speculated that the TV show might be combining the characters of Atriox and Tartarus, which isn't an uncommon practice in adaptation. I think that's an idea that works better on paper than in practice, but who knows. Finally though, the Madrigal storyline is probably the hardest to guess at. I found the ideas in Episode 7, Quan's episode, to be rather interesting, and the idea of showing the insurrectionist point of view isn't a bad one. However, the show never really brought that together with the main story. While it still seems like Madrigal might be key to finding Halo, I couldn't begin to guess how the show is going to bring that all together again, at least in a meaningful way that involves Quan and Soren. And I really want to see more Soren. With that though, I think we can wrap this video up. What did you think of the new information on the website, and what are your hopes for Season 2? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, this has been Halo Canon, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you once again for watching Canonites. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, maybe even share it around, both of which help the channel. And if you aren't subscribed already, consider becoming a fellow Canonite and hitting that notification bell so you won't miss any future videos. Halo Canon now has a Discord server, which you can find linked in the description box below. If you like discussing any aspect of Halo's lore, well, that's what we specialize in. Thank you all once more, and keep on being awesome.